Today, we're diving into a film where a simple summer trip turns into a dangerous game of love, hidden identities, and old wounds. The story follows Loreline, an American singer who escapes to Australia to run away from her past. There, she meets a mysterious man who makes her a strange proposal: 3 months of a relationship without revealing their true identities and without any attachments. Stay with me until the end of the video. The film opens with the tired yet beautiful face of Loreline. She leans against the window, staring at an uncertain horizon. From the loudspeaker, the pilot announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wagga Wagga. We hope you enjoy your stay." As the plane lands in Australia, Loreline breathes a sigh of relief and wakes up Addison, who is still drowsy. Addison jumps awake saying the trip went by quickly, but Loreline admits she didn't sleep a single moment out of fear of crashing and becoming shark food. Addison jokes that she should have taken a sleeping pill. When Loreline learns that Ben, Addison's brother, is eager to meet her, she immediately refuses and tells Addison to not set her up. She has no intention of starting a new relationship. In fact, she came on this trip to avoid exactly that. As they step into the airport terminal, Ben greets them warmly. He hugs Addison and then smiles at Loreline. She responds politely, and Ben assures her he's always heard good things about her. Loreline also meets Zach, Ben's friend. After a few light jokes, Zach suggests they all go out for drinks that night. Excited for new experiences, Loreline agrees without hesitation. That night, they head to a local club. The atmosphere is electric. The song "This Deja Vu" is playing, as Loreline, holding a glass of wine, watches the crowd. The audience encourages her to perform. Shyly, she steps onto the stage and says it's her first night in Australia. With a smile, Loreline admits she doesn't know what Australians like musically, but she wants to sing one of her favorites. She begins "Fall Into You," and her voice, dark and enchanting, fills the club like magic. While Loreline is lost in her music, the camera shifts to a shadowy corner of the club. A commanding man watches her every move. He calls over a waiter, places a large bill on the table, and says, "Find out what that girl is doing here, how long she's staying in Wagga Wagga, and whether she's involved with either of those two guys." The waiter returns with information. Loreline is the best friend of Ben's sister and only met Ben and Zach today. The mysterious man presses for more details, asking about Friday night. The waiter explains that Ben and Zach will present their wines at the university's annual dinner, with Loreline and Addison attending as guests. Later, as Loreline leaves the bar, she bumps into the mysterious man. He asks her to dance, but she declines, saying she's too tired. Friday arrives. Loreline gets ready, wearing an elegant and striking dress that leaves Addison in awe. At the dinner party, the atmosphere is formal and grand. Addison happily dances with Zach, while Loreline reluctantly dances with Ben. Suddenly, a staff member tells Ben that one of the wines is missing, and he leaves to check. As Loreline watches the others dance, the mysterious man from the club, now revealed as Jack, or Lachlan, appears from the crowd. With remarkable confidence, he approaches Loreline and says, "If I remember correctly, I think you owe me a dance." Surprised by Jack's boldness, Loreline smiles and dances with him. Jack curiously asks about her being American, and she replies playfully. When he wonders why an American girl is in Wagga Wagga, Loreline explains she came to spend the summer with her friend. Jack compliments her accent and asks where she's from. She says the American South. Finally, when Jack asks why she left her life behind to come here, Loreline admits she needed time away from everything to clear her mind. In the middle of the dance, Jack suddenly proposes dinner the next night. Intrigued by his mystery, Loreline agrees. She gives him her address, and Jack suggests his driver pick her up at 7. Just before leaving, Loreline asks his name. With a sly smile, he says it's better she doesn't know yet. It keeps the excitement alive. As Loreline watches him walk away, she has no idea that this is the beginning of 90 days that will challenge everything she believes about love and identity. In the next scene, Loreline sits across from the mysterious man at a restaurant. The air between them is thick with questions and tension. She jokes, asking if all this secrecy is because he's married. Calmly, he replies that he's simply private. It has nothing to do with marriage. He's single. Then he makes a strange, almost cinematic proposal, 3 months together without asking about his identity. Shocked and offended, Loreline accuses him of thinking she's just a girl chasing money. But with unshakable confidence, he promises 3 dreamlike months that will fulfill all her fantasies. Loreline firmly refuses, stands up, and demands his driver take her home. Coldly, she ends with, "Have a good life, whoever you are." But the next morning, everything changes. At the door, Loreline and Addison are stunned by a lavish breakfast spread, roses, and a note that reads, "You won't regret saying yes," from Lachlan. Caught between logic and temptation, Loreline finally makes her choice, encouraged by her friend. She won't let the chance for an adventurous slip away. The next night, she meets Lachlan again. He admits that Lachlan isn't his real name. Loreline plays along, introducing herself as Paige Beckett. Amid laughter, Loreline jokingly claims she's 17, but Lachlan, sharper than that, replies, "I'm almost twice your age, so be careful." Loreline then confesses she's actually 22. Lachlan further admits that their meeting at the party was entirely orchestrated. He had asked the waiter to gather information about her and even arranged for his friend's wine shipment to be temporarily misplaced so she would stay longer. Loreline laughs and calls him the master manipulator. Meanwhile, Jack doesn't reveal that he owns one of the largest vineyards in Australia. He only says he works in the wine business. Their relationship deepens, and Loreline begins to uncover hidden layers of her life. She speaks of her father, the famous country music star Jake Beckett, who never acknowledged her and kept her like a dirty secret. With tears in her eyes, she says, "To him, I was just a mistake. My mother still keeps his guitar and sometimes plays it while crying." Moved, Lachlan sends her another gift to show how much he values her. But behind the tender moments, a serious threat emerges. Lachlan learns that his vineyards have been deliberately set on fire. Inspectors warn this was an act of malice intended to destroy him. Though worried and anxious, Lachlan hides his fears so Loreline won't be dragged into danger. Then he takes her to his grand estate in the Avalon Vineyards. The house stuns Loreline at first sight. Lachlan insists he only works for his boss and that the mansion isn't his, but every detail, including his personal housekeeper, Mrs. Porchley, betrays his power. They are alone in the estate since Lachlan has given everyone leave. Loreline skeptically asks, "So there's no one here to hear me scream?" Lachlan smirks. "You're just starting to figure out what this is." The climax unfolds in the wine cave, a dark, cool place filled with the scent of aged wine. Lachlan leads Loreline there and among the barrels asks with a voice that leaves no escape, "What's your answer? Will you be mine?" Completely entranced, Loreline whispers, "Yes." Lachlan presses, "Yes what?" And Loreline, with all her heart, declares, "Yes, I'm yours." In that cave, they seal a pact that goes far beyond a simple agreement. But Loreline doesn't yet know that Lachlan's true identity and the enemies waiting in the shadows will soon turn this sweet dream into suspenseful nightmare. Jack hides Loreline's presence when speaking to his mother and doesn't take her along when visiting family. To his mother's questions, he insists Loreline isn't his girlfriend and their relationship is nothing but a game. This shows Jack deliberately keeps her out of his family world, unwilling to let things become permanent. Still, Jack and Loreline spend extraordinary days together. Weeks pass as he takes her to the finest restaurants from one house to another, from one vineyard to another. He travels with her, laughs with her, and shares passionate, romantic moments. Jack fulfills all her fantasies and even buys her favorite guitar, making Loreline feel alive again. But soon, reality intrudes. Inspectors confirm that the vineyards have been sprayed with glyphosate, a deliberate act to destroy the crops. Jack knows this isn't a business rivalry, it's personal revenge. Suddenly, a woman named Audrey walks into Jack's office, greeting him coldly. She tries to lure him back by reminding him of their past, but Jack firmly declares he's with someone else. Audrey mocks him, saying Loreline doesn't even know his real name and that their relationship is nothing but a game. Furious, Jack accuses her of being behind the fires and shouts for her to leave his office immediately. For his birthday, Jack goes to his parents' house, leaving Loreline alone at the villa. To pass the time and release her energy, she practices one of the most difficult pole dance moves. Soft music fills the house as she immerses herself in the routine until she suddenly notices a stranger watching her. A well-dressed woman with a sharp tone stands at the doorway. Breaking the silence, the woman calmly speaks. Shocked, Loreline stops her practice. Cautiously, she says Jack isn't home. The woman explains she left him at his parents' house so she could come here and reveals some important truths. Confused, Loreline says, "You talk as if you know me." The woman steps closer and firmly declares, "I'm Audrey, his wife." Loreline's world collapses. With chilling composure, Audrey tells her never to contact Jack again, to discard the phone he gave her, and to disappear forever. Audrey claims her husband has moral issues, but she's willing to endure it for the sake of their children and to keep their family intact. These words shatter Loreline. She suddenly sees herself as nothing more than an extra piece in someone else's marriage. With a broken heart, she decides to leave the villa at dawn before Jack returns and end the relationship once and for all. Hours later, Jack happily returns home, only to face a scene he never expected. Loreline is crying as she packs her suitcases. Through tears and anger, Loreline shouts that his wife, Audrey, came to the villa. Jack, utterly shocked, responds loudly and firmly, "She's not my wife. I have never been married in my life." But Loreline, unable to trust any of his words anymore, doesn't believe him. To prove the truth, Jack immediately pulls out his phone, calls his mother Margaret, and puts the call on speaker. Jack asks, "Mom, have I ever been married?" Margaret, surprised, replies, "No, son. What kind of question is that? But I really wish you would." Even over the phone, Margaret senses something is wrong and asks if Loreline, whom Jack had falsely claimed was down with the flu, is feeling better. After the call ends, Jack reveals the bitter truth to Loreline. Audrey is actually a disturbed stalker who has been haunting him for 3 years. Jack explains that because he's constantly traveling, Audrey can't always find him. That's why she set fire to the vineyards and poisoned the trees, forcing Jack to come out and deal with the damage so she could see him. With emotion in his voice, he says, "Audrey wants to destroy my personal life." At that moment, Loreline realizes the contract she made with a stranger is far more dangerous and complicated than she ever imagined. Jack pleads that she not think about leaving anymore. That night, for the first time, they are together without contracts, masks, or restrictions. Loreline calls him by his full name and whispers, "I love you, Jack Henry." The next morning, unlike usual, Loreline cooks breakfast herself. When Jack prepares to leave for the vineyards, Loreline hugs him tightly and for a long time. Jack laughs, "You're squeezing me like this is the last moment. We still have tomorrow." Loreline remains silent, and Jack promises to return early that evening so they can share a special night together. But Loreline has another plan. She knows that if she stays until tomorrow, the official end of the 90 days, she won't be able to bear the goodbye. She doesn't want to look into Jack's eyes and see that her leaving means nothing to him. That evening, Jack rushes home excitedly, but is met with silence. Mrs. Porchley sadly tells him, "She left early this morning, Jack. Said she was going home. I thought you went with her to the airport." Panicked, Jack runs to the room and finds the guitar he bought for Loreline, along with a letter. Loreline's voice echoes in his mind as the letter is read aloud. "My beautiful Jack Henry, against our agreement, I fell deeply and hopelessly in love with you. I left a day early because I couldn't bear to say goodbye and see how little my leaving would affect you, because I believe you don't love me the way I love you." She ends the letter, "You turned every fantasy I had into reality, including finding the love of my life. Now it's my turn to keep my promise and step out of your life. I love you with all my heart. Loreline, your American girl." Jack frantically drives off to catch her, but it's too late. Loreline has already boarded the plane with her friend and returned to America. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot reach her anymore. The film ends here, but the second installment is coming soon.